The night of December 9, 1977, forever etched itself into aviation history. A routine flight ended in tragedy near Churchill Falls, Newfoundland and Labrador. A BAe 125-400A corporate jet met its fate. This event highlighted the importance of cockpit discipline and situational awareness. The crash serves as a solemn testament to the lessons learned. It forced the aviation world to confront its vulnerabilities and reassess safety protocols. The echoes of this event continue to shape aviation safety practices today. Churchill Falls, a remote town in Newfoundland and Labrador, is known for its stunning natural beauty and the raw power of its namesake waterfall. On December 9, 1977, tragedy struck with the crash of the BAe 125-400A. This event cast a long shadow over Churchill Falls, shaking the community deeply. The sleek jet was reduced to wreckage, underscoring life's fragility. The crash site became a focal point for investigators and a place of mourning. The loss of 8 lives left a void felt for years. The crash became ingrained in the collective memory of Churchill Falls. It serves as a testament to the human cost of accidents and the importance of aviation safety. The BAe 125-400A embarked on a routine flight from Montreal. The crew, experienced and well-trained, prepared for a routine journey to Churchill Falls. Nothing seemed amiss as the jet soared into the night sky. The weather, while starting to deteriorate, did not pose any immediate concerns. As the BAe neared its destination, the weather conditions began to worsen. The confluence of factors would lead to the tragic outcome. The tragic loss of life in the BAe 125-400A crash had a profound impact on the aviation industry. It served as a stark reminder of the importance of learning from such events to prevent future tragedies. The investigation was thorough, uncovering factors and identifying areas for improvement. It aimed to provide answers to the families and the aviation community. Flight data recorders provided valuable insights into the aircraft's performance and the crew's actions. The investigation led to significant changes in aviation safety protocols. One key focus was the importance of cockpit discipline. Enhanced training for pilots was identified as critical for aviation safety. The BAe 125-400A, a symbol of sleek efficiency, sat on the tarmac at Montreal's airport. Its polished exterior gleamed under the runway lights, preparing to meet the night sky. Inside, Captain George Eisler and First Officer Robert Wilson went about their pre-flight checks. Passengers, a mix of businessmen and engineers, boarded the aircraft. At 9:23 p.m. GMT, the engines roared to life, shattering the stillness of the night. The BAe 125-400A taxied to the runway, its powerful lights cutting through the darkness. With a surge of power, the jet lifted off, ascending into the darkness. The BAe 125-400A, a tiny speck against the canvas of stars, was embarking on a journey. As the BAe 125-400A soared above the clouds, the flight settled into a familiar rhythm. The drone of the engines provided a constant backdrop to the quiet hum of the cabin. Passengers worked on their laptops, read reports, or simply closed their eyes. The world outside, a tapestry of darkness punctuated by distant lightning, seemed a million miles away. In the cockpit, Captain Eisler and First Officer Wilson maintained a steady dialogue. Their voices, calm and professional, crackled over the radio as they acknowledged instructions. The flight proceeded without incident, a testament to the skill of the crew. Yet outside the thin metal shell, the elements were stirring, gathering force for a confrontation. The steady rhythm would soon be shattered, plunging the flight into chaos. High above the ground, the BAe 125-400A continued its journey through the night sky. The passengers, their trust implicitly placed in the hands of the crew, remained oblivious to the changing weather. Inside the cockpit, Captain Eisler and First Officer Wilson relied on their instruments, their eyes scanning the array of dials and gauges. In the darkness, with the ground obscured by clouds, the radio crackled with updates from air traffic control. The reports mentioned deteriorating weather conditions near Churchill Falls. Captain Eisler and First Officer Wilson acknowledged these reports, their confidence bolstered by their experience and the advanced capabilities of their aircraft. The BAe 125-400A, a marvel of engineering, was equipped to handle a variety of weather conditions. The trust they placed in their aircraft was absolute, unwavering. Unseen beneath the floorboards and beyond the insulated walls of the cabin, the world outside began to transform. The subtle shifts in air pressure, the whispers of change that often herald an approaching storm, went unnoticed by those aboard the BAe 125-400A. Inside the cockpit, however, the change was palpable. The instrument readings began to fluctuate, the needles twitching with increasing frequency. Captain Eisler and First Officer Wilson exchanged glances, a silent acknowledgement of the changing conditions. The snow, initially predicted as light flurries, was now reported to be heavy and accompanied by gusting winds. As the jet flew onward, buffeted by increasingly turbulent air, the crew faced a critical decision. As the BAe 125-400A approached Churchill Falls, the weather conditions deteriorated rapidly. The snow, driven by gusting winds, reduced visibility to a dangerous level. The crew, confined to the dimly lit cockpit, navigated a treacherous labyrinth of unseen dangers. Captain Eisler and First Officer Wilson relied heavily on their instruments. The altimeter, airspeed indicator, and artificial horizon became their lifelines. In poor visibility, pilots can experience spatial disorientation, where the brain struggles to reconcile conflicting sensory information. As the BAe 125-400A descended, the crew may have become susceptible to such illusions. Despite worsening weather, the crew of the BAe 125-400A continued their approach to Churchill Falls Airport. Heavy snow made it difficult to see the runway lights, crucial visual cues for a safe landing. The crew strained to make out the runway through the swirling snow. Pilots are trained to rely on instruments during low-visibility approaches. The crew's reliance on visual cues, combined with potential spatial disorientation, may have led them to believe they were closer to the runway than they actually were. The BAe 125-400A was drifting dangerously off course. Heavy snow and reduced visibility created a perfect storm. The crew, focused on their instruments, struggled to see the runway. Each second brought the aircraft closer, yet the runway remained elusive. Buffeted by wind gusts, the aircraft was descending too rapidly. A fatal miscalculation led the BAe 125-400A on a collision course. The final moments of the BAe 125-400A's flight were a terrifying blur. The aircraft plunged towards the ground at an alarming rate. Inside the cockpit, alarm bells shrieked. Captain Eisler and First Officer Wilson fought to regain control. Then, with a sickening crunch, the BAe 125-400A slammed into the ground. The impact ripped the aircraft apart, scattering debris over a wide area. At approximately 11:55 p.m. GMT, the night erupted in a deafening roar as the BAe 125-400A collided with the unforgiving terrain. The impact reverberated across the snow-covered landscape. Inside, passengers faced forces no human could withstand. The air was thick with jet fuel and the groans of the dying. The crash site lay shrouded in darkness, a chilling silence. News of the missing BAe 125-400A spread quickly, casting a pall over the aviation community. A desperate search effort was launched, hampered by unforgiving weather. Search and rescue teams braved blizzard-like conditions. Heavy snow reduced visibility, making the search perilous. Helicopters scanned the landscape from above. Rescuers pressed on, their resolve unwavering. On December 11th, 2 days after the BAe 125-400A vanished, a search plane spotted debris amidst the vast expanse of white. The wreckage lay scattered across a remote, heavily wooded area. Rescue teams' hopes of finding survivors were dashed against the stark reality. The aircraft's fuselage was a twisted mass of metal. The snow, stained crimson, told a story of unimaginable violence. Medical personnel confirmed what their hearts already knew. There were no survivors. The 8 souls aboard had perished instantly. The crash of the BAe 125-400A sent shockwaves through the aviation industry. Investigators from the Transportation Safety Board of Canada descended upon the crash site. The black boxes were recovered, providing a chillingly accurate account of the flight's final moments. The goal was to learn from the tragedy and implement changes to prevent future accidents. Unraveling the truth. The investigation begins. The wreckage of the BAe 125-400A lay scattered across the frozen landscape. The investigation began with the recovery and analysis of the aircraft's flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder. Investigators pored over the data, reconstructing the flight's final minutes. As the investigation progressed, a clearer picture began to emerge. The data retrieved from the black boxes painted a sobering picture. The crash was a confluence of factors. One significant factor was the crew's decision to continue their approach. The visibility was significantly below the minimums required for a safe landing. Section 3. Cockpit Discipline. A breakdown in communication and coordination. The cockpit voice recorder from the BAe 125-400A provided investigators with a chilling glimpse into the final moments of the flight. The crew's conversations shifted from routine professionalism to tension as the situation deteriorated, revealing a breakdown in communication and coordination. Initially, the crew's communication followed protocols, their voices calm and measured. However, as the weather worsened, their conversations became fragmented, with longer pauses and increased background noise. Crucial information was not effectively communicated or acknowledged. The first officer's observations about altitude and descent rate were not adequately addressed by the captain. In a hierarchical cockpit, it's crucial for the first officer to feel empowered to speak up if they perceive a threat to safety. Section 4. Visual illusions, the treacherous nature of perception. The human eye can be remarkably unreliable, especially in low visibility and disorienting flight conditions. In the BAe 125-400A crash, visual illusions led the pilots astray, contributing to their fatal misjudgment. One illusion, the black hole approach, occurs during night approaches over dark terrain or water. The absence of visual cues can create a false perception of altitude and distance. Pilots may perceive runway lights as closer and higher, leading to a rapid descent. Another illusion is the false horizon effect in reduced visibility. The horizon line can become obscured, making it difficult to maintain spatial orientation. This can lead to a false sense of level flight, even if the aircraft is banked or descending. The crew of the BAe 125-400A might have experienced this illusion, their perception skewed by the lack of a clear horizon reference. Spatial disorientation occurs when the brain receives conflicting sensory information, leading to a loss of equilibrium. The pilots of the BAe 125-400A might have experienced spatial disorientation, further contributing to their misjudgment. Section 1. From Tragedy to Transformation, the Birth of Safer Skies. The crash of the BAe 125-400A sent shockwaves through the aviation industry, prompting a profound reassessment of safety protocols. The investigation identified vulnerabilities in training, communication, and human factors in aviation. A significant outcome was the emphasis on cockpit resource management, or CRM, focusing on communication, teamwork, and decision-making. The tragedy highlighted the importance of a cockpit environment where crew members feel empowered to speak up and manage risks effectively. Simulators became essential tools for training pilots to handle emergencies and develop critical thinking skills. Ground Proximity Warning Systems, or GPWS, became mandatory equipment on commercial aircraft. Section 2. Enhancing the Human Factor, Training for the Unforeseen. The BAe 125-400. A crash underscored a fundamental truth in aviation. Even the most sophisticated machines are only as good as the humans operating them. The investigation revealed that the crew, though experienced, made decisions that proved fatal. These errors highlighted the need for training that addresses technical proficiency and psychological factors. Stress inoculation training exposes pilots to high-stress scenarios like equipment failures and severe weather. Practicing responses in a controlled environment helps pilots remain calm and make sound decisions. Training also addresses visual illusions and spatial disorientation. Pilots are trained to rely on instruments, overriding misleading sensory cues. Crew Resource Management, or CRM, emphasizes communication, teamwork, and decision-making. CRM teaches pilots to manage fatigue and stress, and to communicate assertively. It encourages crew members to speak up and work together to find the best course of action. Section 3. A Legacy of Vigilance, Honoring the Past, Protecting the Future. The BAe 125-400. A crash is a story of tragedy and transformation. Lessons from December 1977 have shaped aviation safety, training, and technology. The industry honors those lost by improving safety. Safer skies require continuous learning and adaptation. The crash reminds us that accidents result from multiple factors. By learning from the past, we can prevent future tragedies. The memory of the 8 souls lost emphasizes vigilance and continuous improvement. This legacy demands our commitment to safe flights. Section 1. The Unending Pursuit, a Commitment to Safer Skies. The BAe 125-400. A crash is a stark reminder that aviation safety is an ongoing journey. This journey is paved with hard-won lessons, continuous investigation, innovation, and dedication. The memory of accidents like the one near Churchill Falls reminds us that complacency has no place in aviation. The legacy of the crash is etched in aviation history and drives robust safety protocols and training. It fosters a deeper understanding of human factors in aviation. The echoes of that night resonate in every pre-flight briefing, simulator session, and decision made by aviation professionals. The quest for safer skies is a collective endeavor, from engineers to technicians, pilots, and air traffic controllers. It demands constant vigilance, learning from past mistakes, and an unwavering commitment to safety. As we reflect on the events of December 9, 1977, it is essential to remember that behind the cold, hard facts lie the human stories, the lives tragically cut short, the families and communities forever marked by the loss. The BAe 125 crash was a profound human tragedy. The 8 individuals who boarded that flight, each with their own unique dreams and loved ones, deserve to be remembered not only as victims, but as individuals whose lives mattered. Their stories transcended the event itself. Amidst the wreckage and grief, there were stories of resilience, of communities coming together and first responders risking their lives. The memory of those lost serves as a poignant reminder of the preciousness of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. Every flight represents a leap of faith, a testament to the human desire to connect and explore. As we push the boundaries of aviation, let us do so with responsibility, always mindful of the human cost of failure. The pursuit of aviation safety is a tribute to those who have lost their lives by striving to create a future where such tragedies are prevented, where every journey through the skies ends safely at its intended destination. Section 3. Beyond the Horizon, a Future Forged in Collective Memory, the story of the BAe 125-400. A crash, though rooted in tragedy, points towards a safer future. Lessons learned and innovations implemented have made the skies safer. The aviation industry, driven by responsibility, has enhanced safety. Every aspect of aviation has been touched by past lessons. The crash served as a catalyst for positive change. It led to a deeper understanding of flight safety and a holistic approach. As we look to the future filled with promise, it is essential to remember the lessons of the past. The memory of accidents should remind us that complacency has no place in the skies. The pursuit of safety is an ongoing journey. The skies beckon, inviting us to explore new horizons. Let us answer that call with gratitude for progress and a commitment to safety.